Let's start off with what's going on here across the eastern United States, and then we'll work our way across the country. We'll kind of dig into some of the details of what's coming up. We've got these strong to severe storms showing up here on the future radar through the overnight across Kentucky and Tennessee. The snow moving out of the northeast. Some snow up across parts of Michigan, too. And then this is going to continue to move off to the east as we head through the overnight. These storms could get strong through the evening hours across Kentucky, down into Tennessee, also far southwest Virginia. There's enough wind shear that we could be dealing with not just damaging winds, some hail, but some of these right-moving supercells could develop some tornadoes. So that risk is there tonight. Storm Prediction Center has been talking about that in their highlighted area. It's one of the reasons this region is still lit up a little bit for some tornado activity through the evening hours and overnight. Let's continue to move out in time. I'm going to push it ahead on the NAM still here into the northeast. These showers continue to push off to the south through the overnight. We're dry for most of the northeast outside of these snow showers that will be moving through parts of the Great Lakes now as we head into Friday, early Friday morning. This is a push of some colder air too, and this is going to really kind of fall apart. Now we start to set the stage for the next system. If you look at the timestamp, it's always right up in here. That's a terrible arrow. That was horrible. I don't know what that was all about. There's your time as we head into Friday afternoon. Showers start to develop across the south, across Tennessee, back to Missouri, Arkansas. We're cold on the north side of this. All right, so that cold air is a little more dense. We've got some snow developing across parts of Minnesota over into Wisconsin. A couple of things happening here. These two pieces of energy almost coming together, and a little bit of ice possible here into northern Virginia. This will get scoured out fairly quickly now as we head into Saturday afternoon. But here's the mixed precip starting to develop for D.C. And look at this. We could start with a brief period of some wintry precipitation, maybe even some heavy snow for Philadelphia. Eventually, you'll quick pretty fast over to some sleet and some freezing rain. I don't think the snow is going to last here. In fact, you may end up with rain by the time it's all said and done. Back to the north and west of this, some lighter snow moving across parts of northern Michigan and now into the northeast. The heaviest snow, to me at this point, looks to be right in here across southern New England, and as our area of low pressure starts to develop here along the coast too. So you get a bit of a coastal influence as well with showers draped off to the south. I want to go in a little bit closer here, especially into the northeast, because this is really interesting. This heavy snow banding that's trying to show up on the NAM right there. That is some really heavy snow across northern New Jersey. It does put the heavy snow out to Long Island and into New York City. Very tricky here, especially if you bring in that warm air from the ocean, which looks like it's going to happen. So now you go over to some mixed precipitation. That's the end of this particular model run, but you can see how things are setting up. Very close to seeing just rain right along the coast, but this last track has been pretty far to the south, a little bit colder on today's run, so in my mind, gives you a better chance of seeing snow into New York City and into Connecticut, southern New England, and the rest of New York as well. High pressure building into the central United States. We're going to dry out here after some snow, and then we'll see quite a bit of sunshine heading through the day on Saturday, also into Sunday. Showers pushed to the south. This is some cold air moving in as well, so temperatures will be on the way down. Now we've set our storm track much further to the south, so as energy pulls in from the west, if it's not going to go this way, it's probably just going to slide along our front, wherever that ends up setting up. Now, there's some agreement now. You're starting to see that here on the models as we head now into Monday and Tuesday. Two areas to watch. I think you watch here into Virginia, and you watch this area back here for some snow to develop. This doesn't look nearly as healthy as maybe what we see back in here. Now, today's European tries to really squelch any type of snow into this area. It doesn't put a lot down, a little bit, but once we head into the Tuesday time frame, you start to transition that energy toward the coast. And are we repeating snowstorms into the northeast again? You might be sick of it. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But there's another chance from New Jersey north. And again, I don't know that I would believe exactly the track of this, but how about this? Once we get rid of that system, another one starts to develop just to the west of that. And now we're putting more wintry precipitation by next Wednesday. So we're looking out now on day 6, moving into day 7, which would be next Thursday. Another storm, an area of low pressure, if you will, moving to the north and east. I mean, does this put snow back in here? I don't know if it does or not. Your guess is as good as mine. To go back to last night's model run, it was still there, okay? So it's not like this is just coming out of thin air and we're taking one model run. So multiple chances for snow. And rain too, by the way. If you're across the south, I mean, this is pretty impressive. Rain, 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 rain. All right, let's get in a little bit closer on the GFS just for some comparison. There's the storm now as we head into the weekend for the Northeast. Across the west, kind of quiet here, and then across the plains, again, quiet through Saturday into Sunday and then into Monday. But here comes the next system, bringing some snow across the plains. The GFS tries to put down a little more snow back here, and I would argue maybe a little more snow on the northern side of this entire system. South of Tennessee, southern Arkansas, central Arkansas, just rain here. There could be some ice right along the Missouri-Arkansas border, up towards Cincinnati, Lexington, Louisville. The GFS is a little bit colder. We've still got some time to iron these details out, but that would put some snow. And this looks a little more impressive if you look at the GFS, which I would argue it typically maybe does over-amplify things in this time period, but looking very similar to the European. Now let's talk about that late week storm we were showing you there, putting the snow in Indiana. Look how the GFS doesn't want to do that. The European does, but I'm not so concerned about the fact that, where the storm will be, but the fact that we're seeing more after that. Look, this is heading into next weekend. So this weather pattern that we're in is just incredibly amplified and juiced up, ready to go, because you've set up that boundary right across the center of the country and the storms are riding east along it. Okay, let's look at the Northeast. There goes the snow into this region. There's the ice too across Pennsylvania, and then it moves out pretty quickly. Let's talk about the snow totals. Folks are saying, give it to me. I get it. All right, these are actual forecast numbers. This is the snow that's falling right now through Friday. Let's throw the snow on top of it. Now you're looking at some areas seeing a good 5 to 8 inches of snow. These are official forecast numbers touched by the National Weather Service. I mean, that's impressive. These are official numbers. You get down to New York, you're looking at 2 to 4 inches here, but just north of town, you can see how you jump up pretty quickly, close to 6 to 8 to 10 inches of snow. Even into Massachusetts, you're talking about close to a foot of snow. These are not modeled out numbers. These are the official forecast numbers from the National Weather Service. Let's get in just a little bit closer here. I do want to zoom in into the Northeast just a touch closer. This is a live video, so we are on the fly live adjusting. Let's go into New York first. Look how close this is. Out to Long Island, you're looking at a couple of inches, but up into Connecticut, these are, again, National Digital Forecast Database numbers, 9+ inches. Even into parts of New Jersey, a couple of inches back into this region. Let's move just to the north, up toward Connecticut into western Mass. Doesn't that look impressive? There's some of this being counted with the snow that we're getting now, and a little bit we'll see heading into Saturday, but you can see those numbers really jumping up now as we head into Sunday, with close to a foot in the forecast here across Massachusetts. Into Connecticut, a good 4 to 8 inches, I think, and then down to the coast. This is where it gets really tricky along the coastal waters. But right now, the official forecast for Boston, we've got about an inch or so counted in this forecast. On top of that, another 6 to 7 inches. So quite a bit of snow on the way here. Further to the north, you get the idea, though, right? I mean, it's pretty impressive looking. You've got the snow not just falling here, but also into Vermont, New Hampshire, and then up here into down east Maine. We're going to see a good 6+ inches of snow. Some areas may get close to 8 inches, and some of this is being counted already. So there's your snow now. Again, 4 inches on the ground. Now you add a couple of more. So once it's all said and done, close to a foot of snow. Let's go west now. We've looked at the Northeast. We'll go a little bit further to the west. We'll talk about these snow totals here. First, across the northern plains, back across South Dakota. You can see this. I'll time it out for you. You can look at the timestamp. Heading into Saturday morning, by the time you wake up, close to 5, 6, 7 inches near central parts of Wisconsin, back into Minnesota, over towards the Dakotas. Again, I would say 2 to 5, maybe even 6 in some spots. And then as that snow continues to push in towards the Great Lakes, we'll bring that snow over into parts of Michigan. Getting a little bit closer into this area here. You can see the snow across Michigan, timing that out. As we head through the day on Saturday, the snow will start to pick up, and we're talking about a widespread 2 to 4 inches, and then some areas in the middle here probably going to end up with more like 3 to 5, maybe even 6. And then the heaviest snow here into the Northeast. Let's back it up just a little bit here, and we'll go back into the Central Plains, and we'll show you how all that works out. There comes the snow moving east, and then high pressure builds in And then we get the rain across parts of Texas and the snow breaking out. Now, it tries to get something going here on the European. The GFS is much more rich with the moisture. And then all of that pushes off to the east. And again, across the west, quite stormy here. We've got some snow moving in right now and rain. Then we calm down heading into Monday and Tuesday. But we try to put some moisture here into the far southwest as we get now into Wednesday and Thursday.